So, I wanted to show you this mat, basically. Let's see how I can do this. So I want to show you this mat, and the mat that this sick man is laying on is a lot like a wicker basket. And for wicker baskets, you do the darkest color first. You kind of lay out, like I laid out the, basically what I wanted the mat, the shape of the mat. Then you want to put in there your second lightest color. And then, you know, you just take it in order from lightest, or from darkest to lightest when you're drawing out your wicker. And you want it to cross over. So that's the hard part, is making it cross over itself. And then I decided with my mat here, something needs to go there. It's like too plain. And Jesus almost looks like he's kind of looking towards the mat. Like he's going to catch whatever's on that mat right in his vision. And what I decided to put there is olives for the symbol of Israel, because that was his focus when he was here. He wanted to reach the Jews. That was his thing. He said, I'm not sent but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. So I'm going to have some olives right there on that mat. I just decided, just made that decision all on my own, you know. Didn't need nobody's help. So, okay. I'm going to try to get some of this wicker in here. Ugh, my palette's drying out. It's like, I didn't even want to show you my palette because I'm so sloppy. My palette is so sloppy. I'm not too technical about anything, and that's how you get things done. You get too technical and you ain't gonna get nothing done with your life. So, whatever. My palette's a mess. So this is the wicker here, and I've got just one color of the cadmium yellow, but I'm thinking I want to do a couple colors kind of mixed together. Cadmium yellow, a little bit of the maroon color, and a little bit of the black. I mix more than one color on my brush at a time, unless I'm doing a space that I really want to be just one color. I like to mix lots of colors on my brush, so it gives everything more depth. So no, not all my painting is like engineering type perfect drawing. It's not mechanical drawing. So my grandpa's an engineer. There's engineers in my family, but I don't know, I'm not that technical. I don't do mechanical type drawing, so nothing is gonna be perfect. People look at my work like, what? Why is it so sloppy? That's just the way I am. I like painting thick, sloppy, but I want it to be realistic. That's the kind of painter I am. Thick, sloppy, and realistic. Does that make sense? Okay. So we're getting a shadow in there for one of these pieces of wicker, for like, obviously going that way. This is the shadow part. The wicker's gonna cross over itself. So, you know, this is just the end of it. Just trying to get the end part kind of in there. And you don't really have to detail too much the further you go in. People will just assume that all that detail is there. The eye just tricks itself. So you don't have to have all the detail, but just make it kind of look like it's there. So give little hints of detail. So I don't know, that's the way I am. I ain't gonna make it too technical. I've had friends that were these perfectionist painters, and it was like, whoa, a little too technical there for me. And by the time they were done, their painting looked so just perfect. But it was like, I don't know, too perfect. Nothing's that perfect in life. So, do I want to cross them over yet? No, I don't. Why am I doing that? Okay, so we have this shadow line for your wicker, which I said I was going to show you how to do the wicker for like a basket or a mat. So you have your shadow, then you want to go over it with your a lighter yellow with a little dab of white to make it look like this is the highlighting part for your wicker. And I wanted some of this fringe to stick out at the end. Kind of draw attention to this mat here, because this mat's the most important thing going on. What Jesus is doing with this mat and this guy is the most important thing. So, okay. Going over this wicker with the lighter color. Cadmium yellow with dabs of white stuck in it. And I always keep a rag by me, so if I have too much paint on the brush, you know, I dab my brush on a rag too if I need to. So, following this, I'm kind of messing it up. Am I making it better or worse? So, we're going to cross all this wicker, but we want to do one strand of wicker going down, and then we're going to do wicker strands across. So, that's the way it goes with wicker. I've done wicker baskets, a lot of them. Some cool looking wicker baskets. But wicker isn't the easiest thing to paint. So, okay. But it looks cool when you're done, that's for sure. I'm gonna have to get more cadmium yellow. So this is yellow ochre. Wow, I'm calling it cadmium yellow. So yellow ochre is what we're doing with white, and apparently that's cadmium yellow. Wow. Whoa. I just use the colors and don't even focus on it. So we're using yellow ochre. Get real technical here. Yellow ochre and white. Okay, so got our yellow ochre and white. We've got our first strands going for this wicker mat. Wicker mat's a little bit, you know, high detailed. And there's going to be parts where it's in the sunlight, which is the sun's going to hit it all through this area because my sun is coming down through this painting. So I want to put it, really get the sun shining in certain spots. So I'm putting mostly white and a little bit of yellow ochre here to try to get the sun shining real bright here on this mat. I want a lot of detail and everything into this mat to pull people towards Jesus. Drawing people to Jesus. Not quite, but no, I'm not quite Ruckman. And I don't agree with everything Ruckman taught by far. Some things were good, some things he was cool, but other things not so much. Like he thought that abortion was okay. Sorry, Ruckman, I don't think so. Then Jack Chick I talked to before he died. Jack Chick told me that I was like really talented and could really use my work for the Lord, but I don't know. He wanted me to do tracks, which would have been a little hard. I don't know. I'm not exactly Jack Chick. Not Ruckman, and I'm not Jack Chick either. So I have my own style, my own thing. But there's some things about Ruckman I like. Don't throw out the baby with the bathwater. There's always something good about some preacher, but there's always something I disagree with. So, and my other thought here is, as I'm going up, is this really going to be a platter, or is this another basket with fish and bread in it? You know, as I go, things occur to me. This should probably be a basket too. So I'm going to start making some weave, going in this platter thing that I had. Just a little bit of weave kind of sticking out for this, because this is a basket with fish and bread, which we know is another symbol of Jesus. And then I can kind of blend that and add some more shadow for that at the end. But right now I'm just trying to get the cross colors for my mat here going. But yeah, I wanted to do this for other people out there that are painters, or just kind of learning how to paint and whatnot. Young people out there, help them learn more about painting, because it took me a lot of years, a lot of books, a lot of going and meeting with artists to learn different things. It was so much harder to learn back when I was learning how to paint. Today you can just get on YouTube and you got all sorts of videos and you can learn anything. So today people have so much more access to knowledge, like the Bible says they would in the last days. Knowledge will be increased, and they can learn how to paint. They can learn how to do so many things through YouTube. It's amazing. But the Bible tells us that in this time we're going to face a time of great tribulation too. So as good as it seems, there's going to be some bad things coming our way as well. So, but basically I'm trying to get this mat, you know, now I'm starting to cross, make the next, like the cross weave. I made the weave going one way, now I want to make the cross weave going the other way. And I of course wipe my brush off all the time before going from a darker color or a lighter color, because you don't want all that mixed in. So I wipe my brush like a million times while I'm painting, which I don't show you because I don't know. I don't know why. Okay, so now I made this a wicker basket, but there's no like definition and there's no shadow, so I'm going in trying to fill some of this cross weave for this wicker basket. Getting some white on there. I don't know. So, I don't know. Trying to get some more details because I made this suddenly a wicker basket, which is what happens when I paint. I just suddenly decide on doing something else and just do it. Be doing one thing and then just decide I'm doing something else. So, but basically I need to finish this cross weave before I get too distracted here. The cross weave is like a black and maroon and that yellow ochre. So we're crossing over now. We're making the cross weave. Then we're going to go back and highlight our cross weave. Now, I don't imagine that this is a perfect mat, because, you know, maybe the guy that's sitting on it is the one who made the mat. I don't know. I just kind of think this is a poor man's mat, so it's probably got a lot of, you know, problems going with it. It's not a perfect mat, which is good for me, because I'm not a perfect painter. But we're getting that cross weave. This is the dark part, like the shadow of the weave. Then once we get the dark part, we're going to go over it with a light weave. And you can add a little water. Sometimes I'm adding a little water to my brush. My paint's getting too thick. I like to paint thick, but not too thick, you know. So, there you go. I've added a little bit of water on my brush as I go. Tiny bit. So, that's our cross weave. We've crossed our weaving. And so the next thing we got to do with that cross weave is get our white and yellow ochre to go on top. It's like a mixture of white and yellow ochre to go on top of that shadow of the cross weave. So we're putting in the shadow, then we're putting in the highlight for the cross weave. And it really makes that come alive. And a lot of times I'm gonna just have to clean my brush and go back and get more yellow ochre. I keep wanting to call it cadmium yellow. Yellow ochre, and go over it again. But you'll pick up a lot of that dark color, so you have to wipe your brush, go get more yellow and white, yellow ochre and white, because you don't want it getting too dark. I mean, this is supposed to be a sunlit scene, which is what I've been going for, is trying to make it really sunlit. But everything don't go the way I want it always. So, a lot of the white, a lot of the yellow ochre going into it right here. So I want that to be very bright. The sun is hitting this mat. And, you know, I might have to come in and add more white after this dries to make the sunlight hit it more, because I'm not getting the full effect I want. But go over all the shadows that you crossed in there. And as it gets farther away, you're going to see less and less details, so you don't have to get real. So the olives are the next big part that I wanted to get, you know, down on my canvas today. And again, with anything that you're painting, you start with your outline and you fill it in, and you use the darkest color first. So I think I want there to be like a little bowl with the olives. So I'm gonna have like a little bowl of olives here, and just put the olives in the bowl. Like, yep, there's a bunch of olives just sitting here. And Jesus could be looking down at these olives. The way that his glance is going, could be looking right at the olives. That's what I want. So kind of fill that in with green, and then I'm going back around with black to get the shadow for this. I want there to be a shadow on the mat from the olive bowl. Just like a bowl of olives. Just sitting there. Why? We don't know. But it's there for Jesus to think about Israel, which he was sent to, the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Wasn't sent to the Gentiles, he was sent to the Jews. They rejected, did not accept the Messiah. So the gospel came to the Gentiles. And now it's going back to the Jews. But the early church was all Jews. So that's just layer one for these olives. Probably gonna have to dry before I can get more in there. I don't know. Before I can get more color in there. Yeah, it's gonna have to dry. So that's just step one for them olives. And probably have one or two olives just sitting out here on the mat. So much symbolism going into this painting. But the next thing I'm going to do is, like I said, those pots, get them real Native American looking. And that's all I'm going to do for today. Probably take a long break. Take a run or something, because I don't like sitting here long. But those are the olives that are going on the mat. Jesus is kind of looking at them, thinking about the house of Israel. That the figs and the olives kind of point you to Israel.